Going to a new world, a new dimension. Yeah. This world is full of dummies that's deranged, and this coming of this age, it's nothing like a flame, it's going out, but nothing like a bang. With a big in front of that parliament, it's coming from a plane of existence, no repentance, that was coming from my brain. When I met the Holy Ghost, realized the fucker was the same thing that I seen in the mirror. Alright now, yes yeah, I just had to calm it down for a bit, yeah. Just wanna know what you down for me, bitch, yeah. We'll be flying through the clouds, taking trips, yeah. We'll be way out of bounds like a glimpse, yeah. We going round and round like the star that we on is going round and round, yeah. Round and round, round and round. When you say the world keep going round and round. Are you ready for the sixth dimension? Are you ready for the sixth dimension? Spiritual battle. Please don't get scared of your shadow. Yeah, I ain't trying to carry your cattle. Me and you united, that's the universe. Yeah, I'm just hoping you will learn. Yeah, let you know that you was best. All day, all night till the day turn. Always alright till the flames merge. The tropics full of leeches, probably in the beaches. Holla if you need me, yeah. I'm swimming on water in a new world, it's not an discussionist. You bustin' up inside a new girl, it's like an apocalypse. Sometimes I get weak and I got a girl because of my body sick. My pancreas tied in my hernia, feel like I'm not again. These bodies just might not make it to the new ground. Whatever they measure the basketball hoop, best believe they need a new ground. We supposed to have this gear nowadays, everybody too thin. In the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, bitch, we the UN. Yeah. Archangel Uriel coming from the left side. You salty cause I bring the heat. That's why you order fresh fries. Or you begin sacrilegious like most of Kanye West rhymes. Man, I hope it don't all crash. Rest in peace, Lisa left eye. Yeah. The Holy Ghost of Phantom, when we going through the sky, where you know it's so expansive, oh yeah. Are you ready for the sixth dimension? Are you ready for the sixth dimension? Are you ready for the sixth dimension? Are you ready for the sixth dimension?
Let's get into it. I had to contemplate that I want to get personal or not, whatever the case may be. God slash you told me to generalize it because I'm pretty sure everybody has similar circumstances and foundations. So we're going to go ahead and generalize it. But best believe whoever survived through the full moon in Capricorn, you did a good job. Give yourself a round of applause. You know what I'm saying? You went through them emotional ups. It probably was something petty. Something petty was way more extreme than it necessarily needed to be and forced you to have to get back on some type of practical thing, some type of responsibility. And if you ain't get it done, something would have been wrong with your status. Either your status where your name be at on paperwork, through systems, through foundations, through cultures and circumstances, neighborhoods, suburbs, something with your name tied to it, something with your face card tied to it. If you didn't take care of a practical issue, and it probably, like last week, last month and stuff like that, these things wouldn't even be a thing. Other situations was going on to make these things be less of a focus. So Everybody got something to point to when it was a full moon in Capricorn. Now, here's the thing. If you're a person who wasn't doing nothing mundane life, you probably was looking at that as a more of a frustration. Like, why I ain't got nothing to do? Why I ain't got nothing to look like a boss about? Why I ain't got my face on no billboard that everybody be paying attention to in the mind? That I could be the representation of that and feel good about myself and stuff like that. And you was going through that energy also. Now, if everything was running through smoothly for you, you know what I'm saying? To think the grace of God. That's all I can say for you and stuff. You had things taken care of. You probably had a lot of elements of earth in your chart already, or whatever the case may be. Or if you wasn't, you just was raised right because you're around other people who probably had those circumstances and situations by utilizing, maybe if they ain't got the earth element, maybe one of the houses where earth's supposed to be at, no matter if it's another sign of element there, you know, there was more focus in that area, or the sun probably was in that area. So they was able to use attributes, or previously have attributes that was able to be liable for the circumstance that we was in at the moment that you probably needed, but it made you feel uncomfortable physically and emotionally and whatever you got on paper. You know what I'm saying? So if you got a lot of things on paper where you got a good face card, a lot of things was popping up to make it little blemishes on it and stuff like that. A little somebody got some esoteric white out and scratched out this success, or said this success came with this crutch, and if this person ain't getting this crutch together, this matters more right now, and to make the whole thing that the person was getting success on crash all and make it crash out, fall down, because this little part right here, and everybody got this little part right there. Some people part right there more severe than others. You know what I'm saying? You probably could look at that right now. Some of y'all got the Old Dog Menace to Society tape. That's probably some of y'all right there. Some of y'all right there are like, oh yeah, I shouldn't have said that to that person last week, because this week it took for them not to know that for me to get in where I need to get in right now. That's some of all. That's that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of the tape. That's what we need to go back to physicality. That's, I don't know why the game and try to run away from it. You know, see, you already rocked everybody to sleep and stuff like that. We got to pay for the next level and stuff like that now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all cats tweaking the gaming industry right here. Corporations is tweaking right now. I'm on tweak mode. Y'all must be friends or family with individuals trying to recoup from the movie industry. That I gotta be. That's the only thing I can think about it. Is somebody else industry about to get raw blind right now from people who need to recoup from the music industry. The people you don't see, the head you don't see. They gonna get their money. You know what I'm saying? The only thing you gonna see is, you know what I'm saying, something else get lit, something else get remixed, and something else, and then you get gravitated towards all. You don't need to know nothing, just be a consumer. That's it. That's all you need to know. And you learned you was a consumer when the full moon's in Capricorn too. You learn real quick. You gonna consume something. You know what I'm saying? You gonna get fed some bull crap, some bull maneuver. You know what I'm saying? Something that we were supposed to give the shovel to by morality purposes and stuff. No, you got fed that. You watched The Matrix before? I seen The Matrix. I seen the first one with homie thought he was eating steak and stuff like that. Then Seven, whatever his name is, Cypher and stuff like that, and he want to go back and eat steak and stuff like that. You know, some Keanu Reeves want to sit back and eat oatmeal grits and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Oatmeal raisin grits and, you know what I'm saying? Oh, mineral protein grits and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then for the most part, you know, that's the esoteric world, though. Y'all ain't know the Matrix is going into the mind. They weren't really there when they went into the physical world. See, it's like the confusion that y'all got. Y'all think in the Matrix, when Neo got plugged in, he went in the Matrix, and then when he went out into back to the mothership, Larry Fishburne. You know what I'm saying? They with Larry Fish on the camera. You know what I'm saying? With Larry Fishburne and them at Trinity and them at, y'all thought that was the real world. Nope. Nope. You go outside, go to work every day. You go outside, somebody holler your name, you turn around and respond every day. You know what I'm saying? You went to school education center until you got plugged in. It's the whole other way around. You know what I'm saying? I see y'all was watching The Matrix the wrong way the whole time. When you with The Matrix, that's y'all life. That's the reality right there. A lot of y'all think y'all know Kung Fu right now. You in jail. A lot of y'all think y'all know how to do. I think I'm Tom Cruise. You think you know how to flip over and stuff and things. You in hell. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of different things right now. A lot of people think they can be Neo and Trinity relationships and stuff right now. Y'all divorced right now. You see what I'm saying? Y'all ain't got no purpose to why y'all together except with Michael Jordan and Walt Disney. You know what I'm saying? You got with him because he had a fresh pair of Jordans on. He got with you because you probably have better credit. The end. The end. Nothing ain't go no further than nothing else but the Michael Jordan and Walt Disney taught us. Oh, sad. Add Creflo Dollar in it. Oh, but add Joel Osteen. Oh, but you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different energies going on right now. Y'all got to be careful of. And the moon just went into Aquarius, so everybody gonna want to talk. Everybody just want to talk. Well, a whole lot of talking energy. They want to talk. The only thing is gonna be a misunderstanding. They're not gonna clearly know how to talk when it comes to their emotions. Because don't forget, the sun is still in Cancer. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's going to be filtering through. 150-degree angle in conjunction. So people may misunderstand how to express what's on their heart, how they feel about something. And how they feel about something, they was forced to focus on it based upon the full moon being in Capricorn. So it's something that a person has to analyze from a critical perspective, yet can't express the full full maximum energy of the emotion behind it that you're forced to analyze. So you can either express yourself extremely emotional and crash out, or express yourself extremely analytical but hold that crash out emotional energy in. It ain't gonna go no other way though. That's the only kind of misunderstanding that you're gonna have internally. Now externally, you're gonna create circumstances and situations where individuals may have to be in that state towards you, or the situation play out that as a whole situation make you way more frustrated emotionally than it previously did, or whatever the case may be. Yet you're forced to express yourself or react to it from an analytical perspective. And the more that you don't, the more you're going to see pieces of the situation chopped off, not in your favor, or whatever the case. And it's going to play out really minor, because in conjunctions allow us to see a mistake from a mile away. If you're clear-minded, if you're a person that's productive, or whatever the case. If you're unproductive, the misunderstandings get forced and focused, and energy put out in areas that's unwarranted. Your misunderstandings be based on faulty reasonings in the first place. You already got a relationship with someone that's based off of misunderstanding. So it's something that been on your mind, been on your heart for that circumstance, situation, siblingship, friendship, partnership, relationship to get rectified, or however the case. So anytime that the moon and the sun is having a 150-degree angle with each other, especially, you know what I'm saying? That's that after the full moon energy, right? You actually was supposed to be fully fulfilled and separated from everything that was actually going to keep you held down and create a full moon scenario and things of that nature. Then you get the highest potential of negative scenarios, like maybe a disagreement with someone reaches highest maximum potential, or court cases, or whatever the case may be, whether you're getting in or getting out, or something is starting to be discovered, or whatever the case may be, or doctrine discovery, you want to go find land, or have a or get your land took, or get your based upon. There's a lot of different things that take place. But for the most part, as the moon going to Aquarius, that's all that Capricorn energy. As the moon going to Aquarius, we're going to still be emotional, but the moon that we're reacting, responding to, is in air. So our emotional state have to be in the space of analyzing. You know, if you're a person that's not in your right mind and you can't analyze your emotions to a certain degree, then for the most part, you're going to crash out, especially if you ain't got no higher octave cancers in your life. As an example, all cancers are the example of what to do and what not to do at this particular moment. So cancers who don't know how to deal with their emotional state based upon maybe being sheltered, lack of experiences, or not learning from their experiences, so continuously going down that negative path, or however the case may be, going to be all the examples of what not to do. Higher octave cancers are the examples of how to deal with the mood, or reading the room, or how to construct our emotional state, and how to deal with certain situations where we can't emotionally handle a lot of times. So it make us make hasty decisions within these circumstances. Cancers are there to anchor our emotional state on how we should feel, or how we should deal with that emotion based upon that particular circumstance or situation that's catered to or germane to whatever the scenario is, or however the case. But that's what cancers that's on a higher octave are here to teach us, or whatever the case may be. And it just so happens that we are so distracted in things that you know 80% of the time may come across a bad example during this particular time, filtered through if they are a Cancer, because the way that they're going to be showing that their reactions and responses may even entice you to like that, because Cancer's got that energy right now to be able to entice others to feel the same way that they feel, or react and respond the same way that they are reacting and responding based upon the emotional instability or stability that they're thinking in their mind that they're utilizing based upon the situation, right? Because a lot of times a Cancer will be an emotional crash out, but in their mind, they actually didn't reach the state where they actually think it's justified. They think it's the most logical thing to do. And, you know, when it comes to water signs, and specifically Cancer, sometimes what they consider the logical action to do may not be perceived as logical to other signs and things of that nature, because it'd be purely based off a mood or an emotional state that they have been placed in. And since they are a cardinal sign, they like to be the one to initiate and create the mood or the emotion, either for themselves or the environment that they are in. And anytime a cardinal sign, specifically for Cancer, is not in control of that, then their moods is going to go all over the place. So they're going to be forced to initiate and create a new emotional state that's in a negative base. So now they're making everybody in the environment feel the way that they feel, even people who ain't involved in things of that nature. And that's when you know you're coming across a lower octave Cancer that haven't even learned from their experiences or lived a large portion of their life sheltered, so they haven't interacted in real situations that they haven't got saved from maybe their parents or older siblings and things of that nature. They haven't went through enough of those circumstances to develop their own mind enough to know where they're actually adding percentage scales of problems at, and where they may be not taking accountability at, due to the fact of not even having that thought form because of their upbringing and stuff like that. Because a lot of times you have to give people who shelter grace. They don't even have the mind frame or the idea that you be thinking that they should have. If sometimes you might be mixing mingling with someone who's sheltered, and let's say their life had been on a track where they're now playing out the lower octave of their energy, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes you have to give it grace. And let's say if you went to astrology, a lot of times you will run into these individuals, and these be the individuals that make you not even care about zodiac signs and be like, that's fraud, or whatever the case may be. Because a lot of times it's a person using their energy for their debilitated concepts in their actual life that don't have nothing to do with astrology. And if you don't know how to see it that way, you don't know that a person is using their energy still for their circumstance, not an energy being a one all thing and everybody should be doing this. No, everybody got their own situation, but it ain't the what, the situation, it's the how they're going about the situation, however the case may be. And that's what people don't be understanding. But at the same time, all of these are just little mind filters and stuff that we got to know that this is what we create. Now, with the moon being in Aquarius, we're going to be reacting and responding to this, analyzing this emotional state. Now, you might want to feel like you want to separate from an emotion that you was currently in. And with that full moon being in Cancer, with the sun, Capricorn, with the sun being in Cancer, you was feeling that pressure. You had to balance it. If it was a situation you didn't want to deal with, you probably dealt with a whole bunch of emotional ups and loops and roller coasters and ups and downs, right? Yet you still had to go through with it. So you had to deal with it. Here's the thing. It was probably something you wish you didn't have to deal with, whether minor or large, but you're missing the gift. The gift is you learned something. You know what I'm saying? You're learning a new ability. You learned a new gem, right? A lot of y'all is an ability. Y'all be in situations where you already have the ability. It's just you have to get reminded. So it was something you had to get reminded that you swept up under the rug. That skeleton finger you left out the closet. That spoiled milk you left on the esoteric kitchen floor for when you have people coming over and things of that nature. They smell your bull crap, or however the case may be. You know what I'm saying? It usually just be that. So you learn that it's certain things that you're putting in your esoteric backseat, or there's certain abilities that you need to develop. But for the most part, when you're going through an opposition and a full moon scenario, that's also what it teaches us, or however the case may be. And a lot of times, since it ain't got nothing to do with Michael Jordan or Walt Disney, it be things that you don't even put in that mind pocket that you wanted to learn. So the ability that you obtain also not in your mind pocket of how to see it from a good perspective, or however the case may be. So it'd be attributes that you have developed that you stash away because of the situation that it came with. And the situation it came with led you to being frustrated, and that's a feeling and an experience you don't want. So it'd be a gift that be a gem that's up under all that dirt that you scared of due to the fact of not wanting to experience the things that come around it after you have learned the gem. And the gem itself prevent that experience from happening again. So you'll never take the gem out of the dirt. You'll never take the diamond out of the dirt, clean it off and be like, boom, and put it as an extra toolage on your goddamn holy table, or crystal gems, or whatever the case may be, or however you do your 1-2. You'll never do that, or whatever the case may be. You learn a gem based upon a sticky scenario that was frustrating for you. And then once you up out of it, you care more about getting out of it and not wanting to revisit it. But then you never observe or took the gem into your next scenarios because you're too busy running away from how you got the gem and everything it came around, all the dirt and the clogginess that came around in the first place. Now, when a situation starts to derive, when you need that gem, you ain't even thinking about the gem. You ain't even, and then you get ready to run into the same situation that you already had learned that ability. And a lot of times these be y'all responsibilities in y'all practical lives and stuff like that. And with the full moon in Capricorn, that's what it taught. It taught that you can't be sweeping stuff up under the rug, because these things that can help you when you actually run into the situation is going to make you wish you have taken care of it. You know what I'm saying? And it never failed. Full moon in Capricorn never failed. It never failed. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't even have a life. So of course you're not gonna. It's mundane. Of course you're not gonna develop a lot of experiences. But then eventually it's gonna still make you feel like, why not? And eventually you're gonna want to get into a talent or get into. And when a person don't got no talent, they start to think this is what everybody else is doing with their talent, forgetting about the talent itself. Oh, people just getting attention. So a person just start to do a whole bunch of boot gang type stuff and crashing out to get attention, and then try to call that a talent. No, ain't no talent. You know what I'm saying? That's you lost in your ego and trying to figure out any way to get it seen. The end. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, the moon in Aquarius, it's on the opposite side of Leo. So it's going to make us react and respond to what we giving attention to and what we should be giving attention to or not. And it's time to play devil's advocate towards it. When at any time there's a placement in Leo, that's the energy we submerge in. And even if external representations don't like it, it's still a fuel to make that light brighter, and we could transmute it into something positive later. But as long as that we're getting that fuel in the first place, the first battle is already won. As far as the energy of Leo, what is in Aquarius, we're all forced to look at that from a devil's advocate perspective. So yeah, this was getting attention, but what's the dark side of it? Yeah, this getting attention, but why? And there's always an issue, or there's always a reason or a cause and an effect. And the cause and the effect isn't always positive. So just because this cause appears to be positive, what effect does it have? And can there be an analytical, intelligent way to rectify the problem? You see what I'm saying? Therefore, some could just be seen without the dark side of it. Some could be seen properly. Some could be seen without being seen like it's looking crazy, or it's looking crashed out, or it's looking for getting attention just for the sake of getting attention, or attention for all the wrong reasons. How can this be crafted and look the part and still be on stage? You see what I'm saying? So that's the Aquarius energy, and that's how I want us to look at our inner thoughts, because our inner thoughts and feelings and emotions are these things you observing, are these light forms. Then that transmute and become the external representations, right? It gets filtered through other individuals doing the same thing. This is why a lot of times y'all need to really sit back and observe. It don't matter where you go. It could be anywhere. Let's just make an example. Drive through, or however the case may be. It's a reason for everything. You just don't know what to point to, and then you get too spooky about reasoning, or whatever the case may be. But for the most part, when you're in a spiritual space, you start to create the awareness. The awareness become thoughts. Then you could create a collection of thoughts. It become feelings, then emotions. Those emotions bend in and become adrenaline and blood flow. And then you go out at that specific time from that motivation and that stimuli. Now, when you go to these locations, everyone who was in the same spiritual space as you and had the similar awarenesses, because y'all in the same esoteric spiritual space, end up at the same physical location to create that event. So everybody you in a drive-through with was on the same time, whether it's demon time, like y'all want to call it, or whatever, but it's just esoteric time, where you develop your esoteric currency at, get a job, aka what you're paying attention to, and if you know how to craft whatever you're paying attention to, and the liking that's going in the right direction is your making, but it's still not going in the wrong direction, then for the most part, you get attraction from that. You get attraction from that gold, that light, or whatever. Then other spirits doing the same thing. It's a give and receive. Then that makes each one individual and a whole process itself of a circumstance more immenseful, because it's emitting more light. So that attract more attention, but also duplicate as a source for more resources for other individuals to use, so it can migrate, whatever the case may be. So when you're in the right space, this is how you start to attract success in whatever you're directing your energy towards. But if you're unproductive, you're doing the same thing. You just don't know what you're doing, but you create the same process. And that's how individuals end up in more sticky situations than others and things of that nature. Then you be questioning, why am I always in a situation? Why am I always? It's because of the spiritual space you in. Space create a certain time frame, the mind, that it start to express, because it matters to you. The body matter. So when you think about space, time, matter, right? You're just talking about your spirit, your individual spirit, your soul, creating a mind state. And then for the most part, it starts to duplicate and become that experience. So for the most part, that's space, time, matter. Soul, space, time, matter. Soul, mind, body. And when you look at it from that order, for the most part, now you knowing why you're showing up at certain times. And yeah, they may be strangers from the physical, but if you live backwards from the external world, physical, then the mind, then the spirit, that's why you're going to see it that way. But you was already aware of that spirit. If you live in order, spirit, soul, mind, body, then external. So y'all knew each other based upon character, nature. So spiritually, y'all was in the same spiritual space, creating the same nature. Then it condensed and became those characteristics that y'all actually played out and created that event that you was the person behind the line in the alcohol store. That's it. So y'all was on the same time. Now that's how you make it simple. But for the most part, when y'all start to look at things from that mind frame, this will give you a better starting frame, a starting point, and a reference, because the letter A is the starting point of reference for the first time, from you and your observation of how to handle your circumstances and situations, or keep track before a situation even start to admit, because now you know how you're creating situations. And it's also place you into a situation and not be scared of life. So you ain't somewhere resisting everything, somewhere trying to run away from everything. Well, if I think like this, let me not do this today. If I think like this, let me not do that today. No, it's like, I don't want to call it a game, but you're playing with a water wave and you want to make sure that you're going in the right direction. So all you got to do is be sensitive to the senses that's actually going on. Track the direction of the water wave, track the direction of the astral wave, right? And for the most part, this when it gets into your other eyeballs, your other organs. So when you say you got those gut feelings and things of that nature, right? Y'all don't listen to those first. Y'all listen to the mind you made last. What's first shall be last, last shall be first. So the mind and the organs and stuff like that, y'all listen to that one first to try to, and that one way more childish to try to understand the other brains like the heart and the gut and stuff like that. The brain and that mind is way more childish. So you got to do way more studying to understand the ones that you already got higher percentage scale of a knowing already. You know, you got more knowing than don't know. Once you start to get to what came last, you got more of a don't know than know. So you get more excited when you have to fulfill something as a spirit. So that once you already fulfilled, that comes from the process of knowing. Lack of knowing has the energy behind, not the energy behind it, but the energy of you wanting to fulfill something, to fulfill it with a pocket of energy. So you get more excited to do things that's unfamiliar or whatever, or testing resistance or trying to broad something out or whatever the case may be. And when you get excited. But a lot of times, you got to understand, you can't look at things backwards, because if you look at things backwards, then you won't know why you're always in the same situations. But if you look at things in order, for the most part, you're like, all right, I'm spiritually in this space. So when I create an awareness, I'm creating my first body, my mind, my bubble, and this rides a certain direction. And if this ain't a direction I want to ride in, let me go ahead and jump out of this bubble and get into another mind frame, right? And then all of these are get ready to condense and to be actual timing that you lead up and be around certain strangers, people you are familiar with, and things of that nature. So when you already on that time, you're able to keep a clear mind when you're going through these circumstances and situations. When you're unclear, you're constantly thinking when you're doing the thing that you think you're clear about. So now it get cloggy. Other things happen. Other things get in the way. And this how accidents happen on the road. This how forgetful things happen, where you may forgot something. You may lose something or whatever the case may be, because you're not having a clear decision-making quality of where you're at spiritually. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of y'all got to get there. When you're not there, a lot of times you're living backwards. So a lot of times it leads into you being in more reactionary energy first before taking action. But you're always supposed to be in taking action energy first, then reaction. And therefore you find equilibrium faster, because you find where there's a large percentage scale of areas where you don't take action, but you kind of see it as that's an action itself. Now you're living in the real world, or whatever the case. The layers that connected with the things you can see and the things you can't see, or whatever. So it creates those cliches terms that sometimes a non-action is an action. Sometimes silence speak louder than words. But you have to actually be in a situation for it to play out that way. Not just you and the energy and you ain't spiritual. So you like, oh, I'm about to use this for ego. Silence speak louder than words. So I'm about to go in all my family members, friends, and associates and coworkers' face on purpose, just so I could be silent on purpose, so I could absorb everybody's power. And I guarantee tomorrow I'm a glow. Yeah, retarded. You got to actually be in a situation where you know you're involving yourself. You already playing the game. You already know, oh, I'm on this time. I'm on this time. Then a minor or a large accident happen, or whatever the case may be. Then it becomes that Resident Evil Part 3 decision-making quality. You know what I'm saying? Where you got two choices when you get ready to fight Nemesis or whatever the case may be. You can knock him off to get the true ending. Or, I mean, you could jump off the little bridge real quick and get the true ending. Or you could push him off and get the false ending or whatever the case may be. And then, goddammit, Nikolai is still in the helicopter and y'all and you and Carlos ain't going to make it unless Barry come to get y'all, however the case may be or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But you're going to have two decisions to make. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, those two routes, those based upon if you're going to take the productive route or you're going to take the unproductive route. Other than that, it takes that situation to be like, all right, I know if I actually say something, situation could go a little further where I might have to do a little extra to handle it. But this is a situation right now where I know this person, the way it's playing out, this person is trying to intimidate me or whatever in a way that don't matter. So my silence particular to this situation is actually me taking my power back or whatever the case. But it has to be a scenario, not you transmuting these things and utilizing it like egos, like everybody else be stealing everybody else's culture now. So almost down to these type of businesses, the crystals and gem businesses, and then all this other type of stuff where it's people who ain't on their land and start taking other people's stuff and then created a pharmacy out of it. You know what I'm saying? Just to scam everybody and made everything about money. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? I'm the only two routes. You have to actually be involved in the situation and then know what tool is actually utilized for it. Not you in a bias and it gets filtered out through a want or a need. That's a false want or need, and then you get ready to utilize these things, and then some of these things is filtered through the word spiritual and stuff like that. Then you give a bad name to these things. You give a bad name to spirituality. You give a bad name to religion too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our grandmothers gave very bad names to religion. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times Jesus Christ was the excuse for us to go outside and get our own switch. Well, I said you start bubbling it up. The woman in her mind, she start thinking like, "Oh, no, I don't want this little thing thinking it's gonna hit me." Or Jesus says you're gonna cruise you'll burn forever if you don't go get a switch. You know what I'm saying? You be dealing with internal battles and stuff like you don't know which way you going. You know what I'm saying? All you know is to go get the switch. No, that's it. So like a lot of people gave a lot of bad names. You know what I'm saying? But you can't be transmuting these things and utilizing it for your ego or whatever because you want the new PlayStation 6 or something like the new Xbox 19 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You get the Steam box. You know what I'm saying? So you want to use these things. Yeah, I'm going to use my silence because I'm going to get all this power back. I'm going to go play the video game all day. Nah, I don't work that way and stuff like that. Or I'm a PhD. I got my own business. And then somebody asks you on an interview, like, yeah, what you do to get your own business and shit like that. Homegirl talk about, yeah, I use my silence. Nah, see what I'm saying? Yeah, you was reading too many books or something. You know what I'm saying? Last time I checked in this world, closed mouths don't get fed. Closed mouths don't get fed. Ask somebody who just got off the feds for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever go no further than that. Don't ever go no further than that. But you got to understand what's going on right now. It's mind, spaceships and things of that nature. And that's what we all in one. Your mind, that's a spaceship. So this takes us into the process to understand that because this is good for Aquarius time right now. You know what I'm saying? For people to understand. Don't trust people. Trust the process. This exposes who bull maneuver ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? When you trust the process, not people, this exposes who's bull maneuver ahead of time, because all sounding individuals are supposed to be able to uphold some kind of process or they wouldn't even be born. The spirit is upholding a process to create the first body, the mind in this area condensed to become an organ. In this area, got the whole little wiring system to let you know where the spirit was traveling through, creating substance and stuff like that. You got a whole connection wiring system and stuff like that, right? So you wouldn't even be here if you ain't know how to uphold something. Your problem is wanting to uphold your bias, wanting to get into those unfamiliar areas that you can fulfill and take advantage of everything that you have already fulfilled. And that fulfilled pocket could be people, places, things, circumstance, all those things that didn't start representing comfort zones or whatever. And it takes you to that situation of some of these things slipping away for you to realize you don't know what you have until it's gone or where it's getting ready to leave. And now you get a little bit motivated to go ahead and get what you already had so you know how to treat it right if you get it back. Because a lot of times, depending on how far you went, God won't get it back. You know what I'm saying? Your whole will be like, nah, I see what you just did in the first place. Like, you think I'm going to give it to you again? Care what you talking about? Oh, no, this time, there ain't going to be no next time. You know what I'm saying? That's like, God sometimes works. So sometimes when y'all be seeing opportunities, seeing stargates, seeing doors, seeing things that God is supposed to give you in your life, take it. You know what I'm saying? Take it. You getting all these other energies, mind states. I'm going to let you know right now, you getting into a bias. God ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? God ain't never said that God was going to write a letter and leave it on your front door, send it with a little birdie or something like that from Hey Arnold. And then after you start reading it and it tell you everything to expect. God ain't never said that. You know what I'm saying? Or you would expect everything and you would know magic. You'll be a millionaire, billionaire right now. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear it. I want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, get out of expectation. That's following the devil. You know what I'm saying? Because you in double energies. You know what I'm saying? You and your energy already knowing you a bias, and then you created a synthetic bias, and then for the most part, you going through two falsicities or whatever like that. So you completely separated yourself from the real reality of existence. So you ain't spiritual no more. You just lost in whatever your mind and your children creating thoughts and feelings, and then they only know the flesh that they eat off of, your body. And you'll start feeling it. You'll start feeling deteriorated. You'll start feeling like you need to exercise. You start feeling exhausted, fatigued, waking up with no energy for no reason and stuff like that. And I'm gonna tell you right now, men, all men, you need to start worrying if you wake up in the morning and you ain't waking up with no bone. Moment you ain't waking up with no boner or whatever the case may be, get your monkey, get your, you know what I'm saying? That's a sign right there. You ain't exercising right there. You don't need no doctor. Well, go to your doctor. I'm not telling nobody not to go to no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just use your common sense to use all accesses you got. But what I'm saying, what life teach you as a man. You know what I'm saying? You don't need your grandmama. You don't need your family doctor. You don't need your high school teacher. You know what I'm saying? You don't need homegirl. You don't need none of your kids. You don't need nobody telling you about your health. There's something wrong or whatever like that. If you wake up in the morning and you ain't getting no boner, you ain't exercising. You know what I'm saying? You ain't circulating. So that's all. That's how life is shown. And go all for it. Call your doctor. You know what I'm saying? Go all for it. Call everybody to work. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't telling you not to. Don't get the words twisted. So I'm just saying how to see things in different ways. Call your doctor. Call your doctor. Call the Ghostbusters. Call whoever you need to call. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, trust people. Don't trust. My bad. Don't trust people. Trust the process. Because here's the thing. If a person can't uphold a process or whatever the case may be, they're weak. Look at a process like this. A spirit is in a certain space, but if they share a space with you, they got mind states that you like, that you got mind states that you are interested in as a focus. So in the physical world, this is what made y'all end up in the same situation. But they lack effort. They lack something. Or however the case may be, right? So you have to understand, when a person it ain't always lacking something. A person trying is just as good as what they lack. We can see that in the music business all day. You ain't got to be the best rapper, but if you a hustler or you could get yourself in certain situations or who you know or whatever the case, it's just as good to go. You could learn later. You know what I'm saying? You could learn later. But for the most part, when it comes into these energies or whatever the case, when you're around individuals, the process is the what. So everybody create a communion, whether it's a job, a circumstance, relationships, and how things going to run, so all parties could be at a comfort zone even when things get a little hasty. There's still some generalized process going on, right? So whatever you got going on with other individuals. Now, when you start to see people, participants, no matter who they are, family, friends, associates, co-workers, no matter who they are or whatever the case, and you start to see a weakness in the ability of upholding the process, look at it from the spiritual world, that all the spirits is in the same space, and y'all develop your own substance, mind in that space, but the other individuals that's supposed to do and play their part is weak. They're not upholding a brick for the building. They're not upholding their part of the area or whatever the case may be. And if one part's shaky, everything gonna be shaky. You can see from a mile away who gonna crash out the whole business, who gonna crash out the whole thing we got going on, who gonna crash out the whole Carter, who gonna crash out the whole corporation. You know what I'm saying? You could look at the G Money. You could see. You ain't even had to get that far. G Money could have just been the little brother the whole time, and Nino Brown never evolved him if he was smart. But based upon being lost in too much, what Michael Jordan taught us and stuff like that, you got to be on the block looking nice with some Jordan, or, you know what I'm saying, some Adidas suit on or whatever, or good tuxedo, let the people know that, you know what I'm saying, we mimicking the mob or whatever the case. However, what it was meaning to look like you represent something and you got a little bit of money, but you in the hood and you ain't nothing but just like anybody else next door, and they lock your ass up, you just another number. You know what I'm saying? Another number. We can feel good about ourselves all day, though, when we be thinking we free and stuff. You know what I'm saying? We keep it 100. But if Nino Brown had this technology, he would have been cold. Because his brother would have never been even involved. His brother would have been in college, basketball player, and an excuse for I could get my money clean. You know what I'm saying? That's it. You know what I'm saying? You about to be a lawyer. All my siblings, you know what I'm saying? Look, you about to be a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? You about to be this. You about to be a basketball player. You about to play volleyball. You know what I'm saying? You about to be the cheerleader. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's setting straight. You know what I'm saying? So anytime I want to do a backflip and cartwheel out as Nino Brown, I would have been straight or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? That's it. It was sad. Fans ask me, hey, how you get that house? How you get that? Hey, man, look, man, my brother a basketball player. You know what I'm saying? Look. I said my sister, the head lead coach and the cheerleader volleyball team. I'm saying real stuff. Cats ain't think like that though. Cats ain't think. You know what I'm saying? They ain't think that far down the road. They just thought, oh yeah, Michael Jordan just came out with the Jordan 6. Michael Jordan just came out with the cool grays. Oh, I'm saying that's it. Let's go stand on the block all day so we can all go to jail. Oh, so stand on the block all day so the feds can have pictures for a whole 5 years of us. You know what I'm saying? What 2 Chainz say? You know what I'm saying? For real on the track. I'll be fresh as hell at the best. You know what I'm saying? Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on my soul. But yeah, we got enough movies to know. Wrong advice, wrong move. Dang it, chief. You know what I'm saying? Don't fit in that. But the whole moral of the story is, if you intelligent enough, you know what spiritual space you in. So you know what spirits is in that space before it even manifests in the physical world. And you're able to conduct the situation and get in and out, or adjust the situation more to it going into in sync and being in sync and being relatable. And if you know how to adjust your bias to go in that river flow, then you kind of trick the universe to make it appear like things go in your favor. You know what I'm saying? But that take deep spiritual work or whatever the case may be. And when that's like a spiritual crime, getting online, teaching y'all good details and stuff like that. I'm just giving y'all a framework. If you're a wide, big spirit already, you already got a lot of pieces you can pluck from this area, and put it together like, oh, okay, I know exactly. I already was doing that. Because I ain't teaching y'all nothing. I'm only reminding y'all what y'all already do. You just do it for bull maneuver. You know, so you just do it for Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? The next cool grades, or you know what I'm saying? So the next Space Jams that come out, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or the next True Blues, or the Charlotte. You just lost. That's it. You just lost in that and stuff. You're going to go stand in line in the Michael Jordan line. You ain't going to go in the esoteric spirit line and be like, oh, I'm learning this today or whatever like that. Oh, I got this new gem. I got this new Sonic gem. Because that's what Sonic was doing. know what I'm saying? Sonic get 50 coins, jump in the thing, go ahead and get the Thanos gemstone or whatever. He had a whole new trick or whatever. That's like he went to the dream world. He went in the mind and like, oh, this is where I'm really at. I got the gem. I got the gem. Let me pull it out this dirt, pull it out the darkness. Boom, bring it to the light. And just showing all these people he could like turn Super Saiyan and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's how you could do. Like sometimes it come out through your intellect, it come out through your actions that day. You don't know how you won the game that day. You don't know how you won the volleyball game. You don't know how you won the golf game. So you don't know how you won a soccer game that day. You sucked all year. That day you had the juice. You had the juice. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you got the juice now. You know what I'm saying? We was like, no, you better shake your head. Yeah, you ain't never heard that the whole high school. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never heard that. You know you felt good. This guy felt good in the heart. Omar S. know he felt good. You know he felt good. He ain't felt that heartwarming. And you cancer too. I think Omar's like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't felt that heartwarming like since your mama was congratulating you and you won the little DJ session or whatever the case may be. That's the last time. You know what I'm saying? That's the last time. And every time Tupac was around, this guy got Bishop, got y'all in trouble and stuff like that. You just won. Get y'all in a whole thief and robbery, trying to rob an A-Rap store or whatever. You out your mind. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on my soul. Or was that an Asian store? Don't matter. It's going to be one of the two. None of them damn near got a damn store. You know what I'm saying? When we get into percentage scales and who got stores, and then let's not get in that right now. Let's just not get into politics right now. We deal with politics in the sky. Yeah, let's just deal with politics in the sky right now. You know what I'm saying? Full moon in Capricorn was kicking everybody's manure. Where your manure come out at? I know I got mine. So I got to prepare all y'all for the new moon. And pardon me, not the new moon, but the moon going into Aquarius. Then as it go into Pisces, and as it lead up to that new moon, we should all have this new initiative emotion that we like, all right, this is a new gem. And any situation that I couldn't really deal with, I got the emotion, I can deal with it now. That's the gem. You know what I'm saying? Cancer come with that emotion. And once it go into Leo, it's going to come with that expression, that feeling and expression. Once it go into Virgo, it's going to come with that practicality or that analytical skill. So next time a similar situation come around, you don't worry as much. You know what I'm saying? You're more prepared. It's something more worked out now. You're more aware of something than the lack of knowledge that you previously had on that subject matter or that circumstance or responsibility you had to take care of, or even health. You know what I'm saying? Virgo teaches that also. Libra, or whatever the case may be, teaches how to know what to put the points together to create balance, because we might have been putting a lot of energy into things that we thought if we put the energy in, that's what's going to create balance. But for the most part, those are the very same things that's creating all the unbalance and making everything unfair, which is why you may feel like you're taking the short end of the stick in the first place. So Libra points you to those certain relationships and those certain people that got you flunked up, who had you flunked up since day one. You just wasn't able to see it because maybe there was a joint mental connection effort there. Both of y'all was trying to rob a bank, so y'all make sure y'all get the new Michael Jordans and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? New Jordan boot. New Nike Jordan boot. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like, so in your mind, y'all, that's your best friend through the delusion. Once everything wear off and stuff like that, everybody look like the goddamn the Fabio case. You know what I'm saying? The Fabio, you know what I'm saying? I say everybody look like that. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. All the kids change. Yes, ma'am. You know what I'm saying? It's all this awakening after the fact. Like you wake up because all these be like you, it's like a dream. Like you know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I'm saying? The first Jordans. You know what I'm saying? The Nike Saddle did. That's a dream bubble. You know what I'm saying? I can flash money. You know what I'm saying? And get a chick with herpes. I said that'd be another bubble. Then it'd be this bubble and stuff like that. Before you know it, these be all bubbles. They lead your life. You lost in the external world. You know what I'm saying? You wake up on this bubble start mixing with this bubble. You lost in delusion, degenerate energy, convoluted, whatever the word is. It's just confusion. You're walking confusion. You know, you don't know what you want. So like the middle of the time from this month to this month that you ain't in jail or you ain't in hell yet, this, that, and the third or whatever, this female feelings hurt. Or if you're a female, this man get feelings hurt. His feelings get hurt. Her feelings get hurt. This job get left. you ain't put in no 2 weeks notice. You know what I'm saying? This responsibility gets swept up under the rug. Your family life, your family members and stuff, they start to, that they was dependent on it. They start going downhill and starting like a lot of stuff when you around, stuff start to go like crazy and haywire and stuff. I wonder why. So I wonder why. I'm saying, so this is a lot of these energy. Y'all got to be careful what kind of space y'all in. All these, when you wake up in the morning, check yourself. A commercial will save you. You will blame it on a commercial. Yeah, man, dang, it was just an accident. And I get up and take that freeway, especially for y'all in New York. I get up, and you probably live in Jersey and you work in New York. Can I get up and take that route every time at this day? Man, this commercial set me down for like 10 seconds, 12 seconds. And if I would have left the house 12 seconds, I would have ended up in that whole little car collision or whatever the case may be on it. And that left me, and I would have been 6 hours late for work, like I'm already be 3 hours late for work coming from Jersey. However the case it may be. Know what I'm saying? And if you, it's okay to blame things on the physical and stuff like that. Just know there's a bigger thing going on. There's a lot of other things, and you was in a spiritual space. So the awareness you create with your first mind is going to start to see all the other things other spirits creating. So you in that city, you on that street. So for the most part, in the physical world, that took those actions. It took those adrenalines. Your elbow moved to sit down for a second and get attracted by that commercial, other than jumping out and how you usually go out on that same actual minute. So 12 minutes, a commercial, a couple seconds saves your life or whatever the case. You could blame it on the commercial, but spiritually you was in a different space. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand that. You could be in the same car as someone traveling or whatever the case, and y'all all paying attention to something different. All walking to the mall with you and a group of individuals. Y'all all going to the shoe store. Y'all all going to pay attention to different shoes. So y'all in the same spiritual space. But for the most part, that's on a smaller percentage scale. Everything can play out as percentage. So even in different areas, it still play out minorly as paying attention to something else. You may pay attention to the sign on this truck. Somebody else may be paying attention to a car because in their mind, before y'all got on the road, it's a car that they wanted. So they like their awareness is making them point out every car. So in their mind, they like, damn, I've been seeing these cars all day. Haven't you? You got to recollect that because your mind on something else. You know what I'm saying? Your spaceship on something else, paying attention to these things. But you need to know we're in control of that. Y'all be in the spiritual mind frame as these things that's happening synonymous, or these things that's happening miraculously. And since it's a normal thing, it's in your normal mind frame, still playing out through when you explain it. Oh, these are the normal miraculous things that happen. Yeah, I was paying attention. But really, it's what we choose to start to spring our awareness. That awareness is substance. So you have to understand that. And the more you start to harness and ponder on that, the more you'll start to see it trickle down and become your actions and your situations. And then you get better and better and better at it. And then you'll start to compare and contrast situations you were previously in or currently in, and how you got in the current one, or previous situations you could have prevented just by having that awareness. Like you'll be able to be like, damn, oh, if I would have seen that, I wouldn't have been so much in a rush, or I wouldn't have been in that situation, because you'll start to you'll start to understand a tracking system. You'll be like, all right, I was in this spiritual space that allowed me to have this thought and this feeling that made the decision-making quality accept that bias, what motivated me to end up trying to rob the Arab store with Bishop and stuff like that. If they want to really, you know what I'm saying? If you'll start to see the whole train, you'll be like, damn, if I didn't even feel like that day and I rejected that feeling, it wouldn't have led into all those many sons and daughters, thoughts and feelings that led into me deciding to go link it with Bishop after I leave the DJ session or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Like it would have been, it's like you will really be like, oh, it's a certain spiritual space sometimes I make a mistake being in, and I can check myself and automatically get out that space, make another awareness, a mind, a spaceship to be in, and go off those thoughts and feelings to create my physical situation. And I wasn't even with Bishop and them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's deep though. It's like it sounds simple if you lost in the physical, but in the spiritual world, you'll start to see all the gems. You can blow all the Sonic the Hedgehog. You'll have all 7 gems before the game even start. You start waking up with all this good adrenaline, so you can't wait to go out and start testing these abilities. You know what I'm saying? I know that's what I do. I've been doing that since I was born, whatever. I want to teach y'all what y'all already know. Y'all just don't use it for the stuff you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's a beautiful thing. And that's when you know even going through hard, you'll understand, you'll truly understand for yourself what it means, and you'll be able to compare and contrast when someone just saying it to be a grifter, and when someone saying that that is for real, when someone say life is beautiful even through the hardship. Like, you would truly understand that. Oh, the person who's genuine, they're not necessarily saying the hardship, and they probably can talk up and down about how the hardship really ain't have to happen, or add meanings on whatever happened. They wouldn't even get to the successful spot without it, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? It'd be a lot of but for the most part, you will know the genuine person isn't basing it on the bad scenario. They're basing it on what they was experiencing as it happened, and through lack of what they have known, what they learned after it have happened. If they're coming from it from a spiritual perspective, right? You're adding justifications to things beyond what Michael Jordan and Walt Disney taught us, or whatever. Yet there's nothing Walt Disney or what Michael Jordan taught us to frame it in a way that we can explain it, though, in the magnitude that I'm explaining it from that angle. You see what I'm saying? So, but a lot of times that's really what it be. We just don't be having the words to explain stuff and things of that nature, or having that actual access to understanding what things are and understanding we're controlling these things. But a lot of times we just chalk it up to, oh, this was just miraculous or whatever, but it was always just that. But like I say, you just have to be careful. Don't get lost in pockets. And then for the most part, when you wake up every day, you'll start to understand, all right, it ain't about what I'm doing, it's how I'm doing it. So I'm participating with the world. You even start to see little things that people generalize as negative and start to see it from a more equilibrium perspective. You'll start to see what people is generalizing as negative a lot of times was characterized from maybe a small or maybe a minor large group of individuals that was doing something, and in their mind may not have the negative thought because they was doing it out of the necessity of a need or whatever. Now, once we created a better solution after that fact, and that became a thought and actions that other people could experience or whatever the case, then you could kind of say or compare and contrast, yeah, this is what's evil and this. But if you don't understand the nuance to a lot of things, a lot of the most evil things that was done was based off of the necessity of a need. And once you're in that energy, you're not necessarily considering what you're doing as negative. It ain't until we evolve and have something to compare and contrast to, and actually have that to justify we don't have to do that other thing for us to even look at something. But then if you're not a person who know how to give grace, and a lot of y'all ain't even experience a lot of things and don't even know how to give. Just like, it's weird today's time. But if you don't know how to give grace or whatever the case may be, you will end up experiencing this in your own way. And God know how to create a circumstance that is just for you, and you can't blame the thought, the feeling, or the external expression, or all the participants that's involved. The situation to be so cold the way God set it up that you, or universe, whatever you want to call it, you can't even use that as any remnants or excuse to why you did what you did, or blame it to why that's what you're doing, or whatever the case may be. It'd be something that you're left on your own volition to come up with your own experience, and you even trying to attach it to that will even put more detriment on why you doing what you did, or whatever the case may be. Yet it will be the same experience as what you think your mind is involved in. Yet you're not going to be able to handle it in the same magnitude that you thought you was learning about it, that you the attributes, you're not going to be prepared for the attributes you thought you was rejecting about it. And it's not even going to be in the frame like that's what you're actually going through, yet that's what you're going through. It's cold how God carved it out for you individually, and you need to check yourself. It's cold, like, and you got to go through this yourself, then that's when you know you're talking to God. It ain't really no voices or whatever the case may be. Is you participating what everybody else is participating with, and that as a collection as a whole is a mechanism. And when you going in its favor, or when you're going in the opposite direction, those experiences that's developing is a communion, is a conversation, it's an experience, it's an interaction. And you just get lost because you're not interacting with another human, or you want to generalize it because you're using English. So you want to say, well, I'm just interacting with the concept of analyzing my experience. But the moment I overanalyze, I'm no longer intellectual, and I become a person that may start to slide into beliefs. And then all of that start to get filtered out into dichotomies in areas that, if you have true equilibrium, that kind of conversation doesn't necessarily need to be there, because your equilibrium allows you to understand both sides, both dichotomies, good and bad, but also be able to understand where they actually are birthed from. And when you understand where both dichotomies are birthed from, it comes generally 90% to 100% of the time from an individual or groups of individuals' bias. You know what I'm saying? And based upon the bias, this is why I say you have to give grace, because you could be up under a circumstance that another individual or group of individuals had a certain bias that you may have been on the opposite end or taking the short end of the stick of it. And due to the fact of that emotional nature that you may not be able to separate from, even if you are intelligent and not even taking a lot of actions from it, you still are blinded from the full spectrum of all the other information and the nuances is involved for you to truly be intelligent within a situation and handle it the right way. And if you're not smart enough, other spirits is the only ones creating minds and bodies. So the ones that's not in the body, is still the energy there, the atmosphere and the environment, thought forms. And there may be certain thought forms you start to attach yourself to and follow, and then you start to emanate experiences from another spirit that already had those experiences, and you're following their reminiscences because you're closest to it, and therefore you get ready to you get ready to experience a representation of your own individual circumstance that represent you being in the same space that spirit was in. So same outcome, different way of going about it. So y'all was doing the same but how this individual met their demise is very different how you're going to meet your demise. So both of y'all probably end up in jail or whatever, but one was robbing a bank, one was robbing an Arab store with Bishop. You know what I'm saying? However the case may be. So that's how you understand it from a spiritual nature. But I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Yeah, but I should have got it in the personal. But yeah, I ain't about to be really taking that many more breaks and stuff like that, because I got a lot of videos to drop and stuff like that. A lot of things I was doing. This mixtape get ready to drop. So I'm about to be boom, boom, hit y'all back with this spiritual esoteric travel. You know what I'm saying? The esoteric next door homie. Medicine man, pilot man, or whatever the case may be. Not just astrology, we add on to it that so you can understand the mannerisms, you can understand the optics of things, you can understand how things is playing out, so you can stop yourself from taking one of these bubbles and going down a train of thought and a line of reasoning that ain't even yours. And then once you reach that demise of it, hopefully it ain't that death one, you know what I'm saying? But you're gonna have to put depth to that mental form. But once you meet the demise of it, here you go saying, oh, I wasn't myself. You really wasn't. Oh, I apologize for something that someone else already was in that situation and had to apologize probably 100 times before you did, and you could have seen that from a mile away. So you was in that certain spiritual space, and you ain't reject that certain feeling, so you was on that timing and you went in that direction. So be always aware when you wake up. You know what space you're supposed to conduct that. It's your spiritual responsibility to know what spiritual space you in. And we all gonna make mistakes. That don't mean we can't change. In this position, you're able to change before the physical representation and someone close to you in your life or a judge tell you have to change. See how cold and the gems God give you in the esoteric world? Don't miss your Sonic and Tails gems and Amy and them and stuff like that, because they was getting them before you and stuff like that. I gotta say the Dreamcast. Don't go no further than that. I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Flight Boss, big, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I am the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and baby responsibilities and obligations and duties that direct the swat hip, hold that yellow hoop. Master Sword, Mama na toy. Hee hee, woo! Master Saki.